We're sitting down today with Allan, who's been able to get over $5,000 in payouts from our firm.
Dude, it was crazy. I got like 36 on the first payout. And then for 2 weeks, my average trade length on Clarity is about 13 minutes. 13 minutes a day, making $3,600. Like, you can't even break that down to hourly. We got the 100K passed actually today, the day of the interview.
$5,000 at 24 years old. A lot of people, that's their monthly check, where you're able to do it at a side income with your average trade time being 13 minutes, which is pretty incredible. So you just got funded 100K, so I can't wait to do another interview with you coming up. Yeah, exactly, bro. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Clarity Traders payout interview. We're sitting down today with Allan, who's been able to get over $5,000 in payouts from our firm. And we're going to go over tips and tricks on how he was able to get those payouts and how you can do the same. But Allan, how are you doing, bro?
Well, I'm doing amazing, man. Life's been good. Working hard, you know.
Hell yeah, always working hard. I've gotten to talk to you a little bit before this. You have a cool story. You're out there in Texas. You know, you've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations to get to these payouts and stuff. And I want to talk about it. But first off, just give us a quick kind of background about you. You know, where you're from and how you kind of got into trading.
Okay, yeah. Well, my name's Allan, like he just said. Everybody calls me Leo, like my close friends, my middle name. But actually, it was during COVID, 2019, 2020 era. My friend was like, "Hey, you got to get into this Forex thing." But at the time, it was like an MLM. It was
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, you got to pay. You got to join this group." And I'm like, "Nah, let me just look it up myself." And that's when I found out about MetaTrader. I put in a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand, and I was just shredding money, bro. I was just throwing it away. I was just quarter lots on Bitcoin, 25-cent lots on Bitcoin.
Going crazy.
Stupid, man, looking back. But I always wanted to, so I was on and off trading. That would be like trading for a month or two. I wasn't journaling. I'd stop for 3 months, come back again. And it was kind of like that for about 3-4 years. But then this past year, I had done a business venture and it didn't work out too well. So I was like, let me go back into trading and lock in, like for real.
Yeah.
So last June, it was June of 2024, I started journaling, writing down my trades. I was learning a lot. And then Mamba set up the blueprint. It was when he just started it. So I was like, let me join the blueprint, man. I'm gonna try it out. And you know, you gotta have a girl. If anybody out there, if you have a girl and she doubting you or hating on your dreams, you gotta cut it off. Because my girl was like, "Hey, it's $5,000, but if you believe in it, go ahead and do it." I did it, and I already made the 5K back, so I can't even be mad at that.
Exactly.
So that's how my kind of journey kind of evolved a little bit, and that's why I'm here now. Got the 100K passed actually today, the day of the interview. I got the 100K, so
let's go.
We're good to go. Yeah.
Congrats, bro. When it comes to the past, because one thing that kind of brought up in my mind is you brought up doing those dollar lots on Bitcoin, you know, trade on the weekends and stuff. Yeah. That's something that I heavily did when I first got into trading. Do you think that's more of a beginner thing? And do you think that when you stopped doing that, you started finding more success? Trade on the weekends?
Yes, for sure. I believe that as a beginner trader, you got to mess up, because I can't say anybody's smart trading dollar lots on Bitcoin unless they have $1 million account or more, because you can't get no pips, man. You can't do you can't risk no 10,000 pips on dollars unless you got a big amount of money.
Exactly.
But you have a trader, you have to fail. You have to fail. It's gonna hurt every time, but eventually you get tired of hurting. So you're just like, I'm gonna stop doing that, and I'm gonna stop doing that. The other thing that I did. So you kind of have to fall over and over, which is what I feel that those stupid trades were. I'm calling them stupid because they were. I was gambling. I wasn't even marking up. I'm gonna buy and I'm gonna sell. That was it.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, bro. Let's talk about the transition from that. You know, how did you start finding the consistency? Like, what do you think was that change that made you stop going from trading crypto, doing, you know, over leveraging, over risking, and then starting to find some consistency leading to payouts?
Man, I wanted to be the 1%.
Yeah,
I guess, because I know traders I'm thinking, what are the 99% doing? Because I mean, even FTMO's numbers, it was 0.07% of people actually get one payout. That's not consistently profit. That's one payout. So I wanted to know, what is everybody that's that 1.05, 0.7%? What are they doing? And they are learning from their mistakes, not trading emotionally. And you know, they're locking in. I was tired of being broke, man. I was like, I got to get to it, and
time to lock
pay
in.
Attention. Yeah, and I really locked in. I like I said, I was journaling and everything, and and that's very important to journal for y'all who want to learn out there, because when you're taking 20, 25 trades a day, if you're strict on your journaling, you get tired of taking that many trades.
Wow.
And you really kind of slim down your entries, you know?
That's a way to do it, you know?
Yeah. Man, I was taking 26, 27, and this was at the beginning of the blueprint. So Wesley was like, he was reading my trades, and he wasn't even telling me I traded too much. He was just saying, "Aren't you tired of writing this many trades down?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn, you're right, man." Because I'm sitting there for 30 minutes on just typing down
Every single
feelings and whatnot.
trade. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's actually kind of funny
But
you said that. You're like, journal's so hard that like you're not gonna want to take so many trades because you're not gonna want to
yeah,
journal them all. That
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
not the worst advice. But guys, I mean, I'm a big preacher about journaling. Everyone who's gone through any type of mentorship or whatever, that's one thing that you should get, drilled into your head is that you don't really know what you're doing wrong until you can identify it. And that's gonna come from like collecting data, seeing, oh, every time I do this, I'm losing. So let's extract this from the strategy and keep it going and stuff. But that's awesome,
sure,
bro. I'm
for
glad you're
sure.
able to kind of figure that out. And it sounds like, you haven't been, I mean, at least for your new strategy and stuff, it's kind of more recently, like you just gotten these payouts today. You just passed that 100K. So congrats on your success,
Yeah,
bro. It's been
yeah, for
awesome.
sure.
So I want to
Yeah.
ask you, what kind of like pairs do you trade mostly?
US 30 and NAS.
Let's
Actually
go.
my first funded pass was SPX. It was SPY.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing the breakout at 830 strategy, and I was only going 1 to 5, so I was holding 1 to 5s every time.
Yep.
I was setting and forgetting. But then there was like a point where I had like a 2, 3 week lose streak, and it was the same strat,
Yep.
and I don't believe in changing your strategy because you got to learn your strategy and basically trade robotically, kind of like an AI would.
Yep.
Um, but I was saying I've never had a 2, 3 week losing streak on US 30 or NASDAQ. So let me stick to those. So now every day is US 30 and NAS. I take both entries
Mm-hmm.
of either direction. So sometimes I'll sell NAS and buy US 30.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I just set and forget is because I use the support and resistance. So when I watch Mamba Trader, when you were trading live and
Mm-hmm.
the blueprint, we were doing kind of tight stop losses, but
Yeah.
I opened that thing all the way up. I'll go to the previous zone, to the
Okay.
previous support resistance. So the way I do it is if I have over 6,000 pips of a stop loss, I take a 1 to 1. If I have between a 4,000 and 6,000, I take a 1 to 2. And if it's under 4,000 pips, I'll take a 1 to 3. So
Okay.
I'll just, like I said, sometimes US 30 will hit the 1 to 1 and NASDAQ will get close to stop loss. But because I had the stop loss set out, it'll reverse and come back and win. So sometimes I'll get 2 1 to 1 or a loss
Interesting.
and a 1 to 2. Yeah, but I had to learn to just keep them like I'm like not looking,
Yeah.
because before I'd be like bro, I'm shaking because I can't look away. So
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta learn to just keep your eyes off. But US 30 Nasdaq is where I found my success,
That's
and I would
awesome.
really recommend anybody to stick with those. Yeah, because there's a lot of volume. That's what it is. The volume is very important.
And that's where you get that risk reward and stuff. That's
Yeah,
awesome, bro. Well,
yeah,
I mean, I love hearing about that and just, you find that consistency because finding something that works for you like that comes from you just repeatedly being in the markets. And
for sure.
because I like what you brought up earlier about you were like, oh, I was just gambling because like people who kind of go in and are just buying and selling and like losing, but then also winning here and there and not like really collecting data on why they're winning or why they're losing, then it becomes gambling. But it seems like you took all those losses as lessons and were able to develop a strategy
Yes.
of like, you know what? It makes most sense when I open up these stop losses, like both them, even if at the time might be going the wrong direction or like opposite directions, it'll swing back and give you some more breathing room.
Yeah,
So
for
that just
sure.
comes from
Yeah.
trial and error and like figuring out your data. So
Mhm.
congrats, bro.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah. It took a while to get there for sure.
yeah. So how long in total? Because I know you said this is one thing
Uh,
you said earlier is that like, and everyone goes through it, is that you start trading, but then you kind of like are on and off of it. You don't really want to journal as much and
yeah.
stuff. Like, when do you think it kind of like you started locking in, and do you think you really had to stay consistent to then really start seeing those results?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Because I had a point where I was like on for like 3 or 4 months. I think this was 2021,
Mm-hmm.
like early 2021. And that was 3, 4 months. In your head, it feels like a long time. Like, man, I've been here
Yeah.
for 3 months and I haven't seen a dollar.
Mm-hmm.
But this past year, it was June of 2024. It took me maybe 7 or 8 months to even be like considered profitable, whether on demo or funded.
Yeah.
But it took about 8 months for me to pass and get fully funded.
Awesome.
So that's how long it took. I mean, for anybody watching, it would be, if you're losing 6 months to a year, it could even be longer than that. But you have to stick with it. Like I could have gave up 3 months, 4 months ago, and I would have missed out on where I'm, what I'm seeing now.
And made back all this
Um,
stuff because that's one thing I always talk about is that when like for me personally, I also failed a lot of challenges at first, but when you get that first payout, it covers for all those past losses.
yeah, dude, it was crazy. I got like 36 on the first payout, and then for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
I've I've gotten paychecks of 2,000 or more
Mm-hmm.
for 1 week, but I was busting it, man. I'm sweating or I'm tired. I
Yeah.
gotta wake up early, whatnot. And this was maybe my average trade length on Clarity is about 13 minutes. So if I'm
Okay.
doing that math, 13 minutes a day, making $3,600 for Like you can't even break that down to hourly. You're
Yeah.
getting paid per minute, you know?
Getting
You're
paid per
getting paid
minute.
per
That's
minute.
yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Because you're like, it all adds up. You're like, I'm basically only trading an hour every 10 days, right? Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
It's
It's kind of
insane.
crazy. That's awesome,
Yeah.
bro. You're working hard, you're calling right here from your work. You said, you've been working hard, but then finding consistency outside of work, doing something that you love and you're finding the passion for, which is trading. Do you
Yeah.
think
I
that like
love it.
trading something you want to do for the rest of your life?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing for people that want to get rich quick or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not for you. You
Yeah.
gotta
I was
love
gonna ask that
this. Like,
next.
man, Wesley told us in the blueprint, I thought he was joking. He said,
Hmm.
you got to dream about trading.
Literally.
I'm like, he's trolling. But I'm not gonna lie about it happened maybe at my 6 month in. I'm waking up and I'm like, I just had a dream about me entering and closing a winner or even a loser. I've had dreams about losing, but it's created like a fire, man, where it's like I want to trade when I can't,
Yep.
and that's part of the game too. You can't sometimes. You gotta slay back. Um, but it made a whole passion, like a love. I'm talking to my girl, like telling her an hour about a trade that would take 5 minutes to take, but I'm going into details of every
Everything.
emotion. She's basically my journal, but I love it so much. Uh, whether it works out or not, which I think it'll work out, but you put money into other businesses or what, but I don't care really much about the money anymore. It's just that I like doing it. Like
Yeah.
even when I have a losing streak, it's like I want to come back every day and just go harder and
Exactly.
harder.
It's like kind of
Yeah.
addicting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I love it.
Why I
Yeah, I'm
love trading
addicted
is
to
that
it
you never can also be perfect. Like you're always learning. Like even the best traders,
for sure.
like Mamba and stuff,
Yeah.
every single day is still learning new stuff and been trading over 10
Oh, for
years.
sure. Yeah, that's another thing I would tell anybody is remember the pros make mistakes or sometimes they don't make a mistake. They're supposed to lose that day, but they followed the rules.
Hmm.
And Mamba's had like a day where we lost 3 trades on live, but he came back the rest of the week and smacked TP3. So,
Exactly.
he's not gonna cry, but he's like, man, we'll just come back tomorrow. And that's what you gotta remember.
Yeah.
He might be mad inside, but he's not acting on it. It's like, fuck,
Exactly.
I just lost 40K, but he's treating it like it's another day at the office.
And that's what it is because like I feel like a lot of people think in days when real traders think in decades, right? It's all about
Yeah, yeah,
understanding that if you have a proven edge that works over a year period of time, there might be little seasonal things where it's just not working out as good. So it's the people who know
for
that like
sure.
you just got to keep shooting and move on because
Yeah,
the beginners who like when they start losing for a week, 2 weeks, they scratch the whole strategy. They start doing a whole nother thing. They go back to YouTube and start watching videos and they don't stick to
yeah,
their
that's
plan
a
in the
big
first place.
mistake. Yeah, that's a big mistake.
That's awesome. Well, I want to ask you, when it came to your transition from live account over to funded, was that switch kind of easier? What made you go to the funded route?
The capital, I
Mm-hmm.
like I did blow okay before I joined the blueprint in that June where I started last
Mm-hmm.
June, sorry. I put $1,500 and I smacked it, bro. I just destroyed the 1,500.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's part of the game. But I was thinking, okay, I could take another 1,500, but I wanted to do it correctly, which was risk 1%, maybe
Mm-hmm.
2%. And when I'm looking at the numbers, well, 1% of 1,500 is $15. And some people, if you're in another country or in a state where it's really cheap, you might be okay with $30 to $100 a day profit. But you're smacking TP10s at that point,
Yep.
you know. And I was looking at the realistic way to do it would be funded. Now the rules are tight and it might be scary, but in my mindset, it was if I'm hitting these 8% overall or 5% daily, I'm making a mistake
Yep.
because I shouldn't be losing 4 or 5 trades in a day. I should call it quits at 2 or 3 if I'm down for the day. I mean,
Exactly.
I have done that day where I was down 4 trades, but that was a rule break, so it's not something I'm going to tell everybody to do
Yeah.
because I've been like $50 away from daily drawdown before, and I did calculate it in my head. I'm like,
Crazy.
okay, I got $500.50 left, and I'm risking $500. But hey, that spread,
Yeah.
it could have smacked me right over.
100%.
Um, for sure. But I looked at the numbers. Capital is way better. It's risky. You might lose a lot, but again, the blueprint plus my payouts or the blueprint plus what I paid for the fundeds, I haven't made it all back yet, but that's because I made a mistake this past week with my account.
Mm-hmm.
I would have got another payout this Friday. I would have got another payout, but that was due to my own fault. And that's
Yep.
something you grow as a trader. You start to accept your own faults.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
When you
but I just,
my
huh?
bad. No, I was gonna say you got to think of it as
Go ahead.
tuition. You got to think of it as a tuition that
Yeah,
like you paid your dues to learn, and now you're gaining a skill set that now you can go
yeah,
tackle whatever size accounts. You got your payouts from 50Ks, but now you just passed 100K today. Now you're leveling
about
up
it.
and stuff, right? So the payouts about to get
Yeah,
bigger.
sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wanted to do a copy trader. Um, but I thought about it. And I'm like, realistically, if you can get bigger capital, you don't need to copy and
Hmm.
have the risk of like the delay or whatnot. or not hitting a
Exactly.
TP on one account or the other. So I'm not mad that I lost because again, man, it was 5 days minimum on Clarity for anybody that wants to get an account,
Yeah.
but you can't enter 1 cent lots. So, I smacked TP5 today. I'm already up my 5%. So for the rest of the week, just enter 1 cent lots.
Yep.
It's just like the game you got to play, you got to play it like that. And the rules are very lax on Clarity. Like I was looking up other accounts. It's like double the price with 7% overall or 6% overall,
And like
4%
worse
daily.
rules and stuff too as well. Like
Yeah,
you'll see like this just
it's
it's even
crazy.
harder. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even copy trade on a lot of other people. And
Mhm.
Clarity, like they'll tell you, go ahead and copy, go ahead and do
Yeah,
it.
as
If you
long as
feel
it's
like if you,
you're copying it to yourself,
yeah,
100%.
yeah, if you feel like you can, you do it yourself.
Yeah, well, tell me what brought you to Clarity. What made you, choose them, and why do you like using Clarity?
Man, really? Well, part of it was the blueprint because Wesley gave us our 100K towards the end,
Hmm.
which I destroyed in 3 days. Oh, that was just a small part. It was, I
Yeah.
guess, again, the pricing for the rules. Like I compared it to a lot of different ones, um, and I didn't like the other ones. And I trust Mamba too.
Yep.
I used to think Mamba, like anybody that was an influencer, was a scammer or whatnot.
Yep.
But I saw Mamba do it live every day. He's been doing it. I've been watching him do it live for like 10 months now. He
I've
does it
been
every
saying that
day.
for everyone, bro. It's like go
Dude,
watch,
it's
go watch if you have anything to say.
yeah, and I see the people on YouTube on his new channel where he posts the lives, like the clips.
Yeah.
People are still calling him a scammer or a gambler. I'm like, you can watch it with us, man. I made money today and yesterday.
Exactly.
Uh, and the other thing is Wesley, man. Wesley is as a marketer, and he seems like a great husband and father to his kids. Somebody that I would trust to make an investment with,
Yeah.
and someone that taught me the ropes of how to do what I'm doing. He coached me a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so three things I'll say: pricing, the rules, and the people
The
marketing.
trust and
It's
stuff.
it's,
Yeah.
it's, it's great. Yeah, I feel like more people should be getting onto Clarity. If any point they do the affiliate program again, I'm promoting that thing. I already am. I'm trying to get people on like today, but
Yeah.
it's a hard industry to get people to feel comfortable doing because it feels kind of risky.
Yeah. Exactly. They want to see your success first, and then they kind of come later. But you're starting to get it, bro. Which, like I say,
Yeah.
congratulations. It's just the beginning. I really hope that coming up, we're gonna do another interview coming up about you doing a 10K payout. Doubling it or 15. It's gonna be really
Yeah,
cool.
try it out.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
always
I'm gonna
love
try
seeing
it.
people come from the blueprint too. Obviously I'm a coach in there as well, and seeing people who go through and find that success. Because I always want
Mhm.
to ask people at the end is that like, what do you think differed from you and why you're able to find the success learning the same strategy, learning the same stuff, having access to the same information, the same people? Why do you think that you are now finding success and starting to get profitable?
Are you asking me that question?
Yeah.
Sheesh, man. Oh, that's a deep one because there's people in the blueprint who didn't succeed.
Yeah.
Um,
You know?
and I had to understand why I differentiated. Well, man, I pray every day.
Mm-hmm.
I really try with
Amazing.
God. I'm a sinner like everybody else. I sin every day. But I put my faith in God, even on my hard days. I've had bad, hard days trading and outside of trading. Um, and it's the fact that I don't want to say I'm disciplined. There's a lot of things I'm not disciplined in life. Discipline is something you do every day or all the time.
Yep.
But I just didn't give up, and I had faith in the process, and I believed in myself. It's those days when you're really losing, and you lost the funding. If you say, "Man, I can't do this, it's impossible," it's gonna be. But
Yep.
I never had that day. I was like, "Man, I don't care. I lost another one." I told my girl, "I just lost another one, but I'm gonna get another one right now."
Mm-hmm.
And I put a lot of money in Clarity's pocket. It is what it is. That's what the business is there for. But they did the same for me.
Yep.
And I've
Made you right back.
never ever told myself that I cannot do it. And I heard your story of when you were in college and you were going through it,
Yep.
and you had that same mindset of I can do this. There's no way I can't. Like I'm gonna get it no matter what.
Yep.
And there's people in the blueprint. They're 2.5 months in, they're asking for a refund. My boy, why? You're not believing in yourself
Yeah.
at that
Believe in
point.
yourself.
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself. That's really, I think, what differentiates the people, the ones who can believe in themselves while strictly following their strategy. Because again, the emotions will make you mess up your strategy
And it
and
goes into the get
not
rich
change it.
fast thing. People just want
Yeah,
to get rich really fast with trading because you can, but high risk comes high,
yeah,
or high
man.
reward comes with high
Yeah,
risk. So
yeah. You can hit $1 million jackpot at Las Vegas.
yeah, exactly. Go hit the slots or
It's the
something.
same thing. Yeah, you hit the slots, man.
I love that, bro. Well, you have a super inspiring story. I always love, talking to people who are in your position who've been able to like work super hard, all the rules and kind of like figure out within yourself, your journaling, what were you doing wrong. I love hearing about your strategy. You know, you gave some tips and stuff about what you were able to kind of tweak that you found success with. But I want to ask you, you know, for everyone out there who's listening, you know, because there's gonna be a lot of people who are listening to you right now who want to be in the same shoes and get to a funded payout with clarity. What are some major advice you'd give to them?
Oh man, know when to stop,
Mm-hmm.
um, and know how much you should, how much like know when not how not to over risk because, like I said, there was times where I was so close to the daily drawdown, where really I would call that luck because I
Mm-hmm.
should have lost that account that day, you know. But you got to learn every day from your mistakes, and you have to know when to stop. That's one of the major things right there. Like I said before, believe in yourself and knowing when to stop is the biggest one because you could have a day where you're down 4 or 5%. If it's alive, you could be down 20, 30% because there's no rules. But you're looking again, like how you said, at the yearly, 5 years, 10 years. Remember that the banks on average are making 8 to 10% a year. And with
Exactly.
trading, you could really do that in a month. You could do that in a year and you're comparing to them. You know, it's not you're not trying to get rich quick. You're
Yep.
doing this long term. Um, that's the biggest thing that I had to overcome was knowing when to stop because I mean, even then I haven't fully gotten there yet. Because I told you before the call that I blew a fully funded because I wanted to risk dollar lots. I'm like, hey, I want 5,000 today.
Yeah.
But had I followed my strategy, I would have probably made 5,000 in that week or the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So even someone with the payout, or even like Mamba, he might make a mistake someday where he shouldn't make it. But
It
you
happens. You
gotta
got to
know when
move
to stop.
on. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
you gotta know when to stop and brush it off. Don't linger on it. Go walk at the park. Go hang out with your family. Watch a movie or something. But if you're sitting there all day with letting it just sting in your head, you know, you're not knowing when to stop with your emotions as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, what about psychology? How big of a role does that play in it? Because as someone who blew a lot of like funded challenges and had the faith to keep going and knowing that you'd make it to then make it all back and some, like where does that come from and what's some advice you could give?
Hold on, I got you right now, man. This is
Let's go.
number one thing right here, man.
Let's
I
see
got
it.
this right here. It's Mark Douglas. I don't know if you know who
Yes.
this is.
I know Mark
One
Douglas,
of the
the disciplined
OGs,
trader.
bro.
Trading in the zone,
OGs,
disciplined trader, bro. OG.
yes, discipline trader. The word he put it in, I can't remember the exact words he put it in. Um, it's don't be upset when you lose a trade. Be upset when you don't follow your strategy. That's
Yep.
the best way to put psychology because if you're like I said, if you're learning on those trades, you're gonna make more mistakes. You're gonna keep entering trades. You're gonna enter higher risk. You have to know when to just be okay, be happy, and keep it going to the next day. Because
Exactly.
psychology, that's why the payout thing, the 0.07%, 99% are losing because they're letting emotions come in. They're not having a strong mind. Psychology is more important than your strategy. It's more important than the amount of trades you take. It's more important than the amount of money you have, or you could have a million fundeds. But if your psychology is wrong, Mamba could give you you could copy Mamba's trades in the live chat in the live trading chat and lose every day because you're not
Yeah.
following your psychology. Most important thing is psychology. That is the number one.
Yeah, and going off what you said, that comes from Mark Douglas also is that like there's nothing that's worse than winning a trade that's not following your plan. It's like I would
Yeah,
personally, as a coach, as someone who's gone through teaching a bunch of students and my own trial and errors in trading, is that there's nothing worse than like not following your plan and then getting rewarded for it. You know, I'd rather
for
you
sure.
like not follow your plan and lose, so you go, oh, all right, like I didn't follow my plan, so that's why. Not, oh dang, I
Mhm.
didn't do that, and now I got rewarded for it, so let me keep doing that, right? So,
For sure.
I love that, bro. You know, you're staying disciplined. Came up, I thought you were gonna pull like a journal or something too, but do you think journaling was huge for you too?
Yeah, I have it on my Discord. That's why it's in
Yeah,
here,
exactly.
digital
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
journal.
But still, the
But
books
yeah,
and
no,
everything too.
journaling to this day, man. I don't do it every day like I used to, but that's more because I understand. Like I can look at a trade I took and be like, that's I know why I failed. This is why I failed. But
Yeah.
that came from journaling for 6, 7, 8 months straight, every single day. Sometimes 5 trades a day. You don't want to do it every day. You got work and stuff, but I'm gonna do it throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
But journaling is the one way that you're going to uh, analyze and understand what you're doing wrong. But what I'll do now is for somebody out there with a journal. I don't use it as much because I know in my head, but you got to look at your trade, Just remove every indicator or tool you have, remark it up like it's that time, and
Yeah,
well, how would have I entered correctly? Because I did that. I had to go back like the past month and just back test every day. I was like, I should have been up 3% this week. I should have been up 4% that week.
exactly.
But I entered 3 trades here when I should have only entered one and had a bigger stop order. That comes from the journaling
Hmm.
and analyzing.
And analyzing that and figuring out where to get out of the trade and all that, bro,
That's
which
it.
I love hearing from you, which is just great. I love hearing people who went through trial and error, but then tweaked it to actually find a strategy that works for them to find consistency.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
But I love that, bro. You have a super incredible story, bro. You're still trading with clarity. You just got funded 100K, so I can't wait
Yes,
to do
sir.
another
100K
interview with you
today,
coming up.
man.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Congrats. That's actually
Yes,
super cool
sir.
you did it the day of the interview.
Yeah.
How does it
Yes,
feel to
sir. Yes, sir.
be someone who was in the blueprint, would like watch people like Mamba or me on YouTube or whatever, and now getting to get interviewed?
Oh man, I can't even put words to it, because again, everybody thinks, oh, Forex is a scam, the influencers are a
Hmm.
scam. But you got to know who you're looking at, And I tried Mamba Strat a little bit, and I was kind of backtesting it before I joined the blueprint. I was like, man, this guy is kind of spitting, bro. Like every day at 8:30, there's this big 5,000 pip move.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, and now to be able to send like Wes a DM or I could DM you, you respond. Mamba's probably the only one I can't read, but it's freaking Mamba. You're
Yeah,
a
there's
little busy
thousands of
guy.
people messaging them. Yeah,
Bro got like 1,000 kids too.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean,
You're
the fact that
hilarious.
maybe one day, or one day I might be able to get a
Well, he's gonna
private
see
jet.
this, so you never know, bro. You might
Oh,
DM me
for
up there,
sure. Hey, yeah, hey, bro, I love you, Mom, but you saved my life, man. If you see this,
I love that.
I am so thankful to the blueprint. I'm thankful to Wesley Mamba and you as well. You joined in a little later.
Hmm.
You weren't coaching me, but I saw you sending the videos and you're in the chat. And I'm like, damn, I fuck with Luke. He's cool. I know Moondog. You're cool with Moondog.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
boy.
Moondog's cool too.
Yeah, Moondog's my boy. Uh, but the blueprint, anybody, man, that thing just it changed my life, man. I
That's
can't
awesome.
even, being able to even have this conversation right here, or I had a phone call with Wes. It's something that I don't know how you would compare it to, like, cause to me, the OG professional traders are like my celebrities.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like if you got a call with your favorite movie, your favorite actor, or whatever. That's how I'm feeling right now. This is like the one of the biggest blessings I could ask for,
That's awesome,
like
bro.
at this point in my life. Yeah.
That's how I feel, bro. I feel super blessed to, I always tell everyone, but I was in that exact same spot, bro. You can go back.
Yeah.
I did a payout interview before I did any type of social media or anything, and then slowly just building my
Wow.
way up. So it's just, it's
Okay.
super cool. I wanted to ask you, but that's cool, bro. All of us are rooting for you. We love that, you found success with clarity, especially in the blueprint. That's even cooler that you came from learning Mamba strategy to then using the prop firm and then getting to the payout. $5,000 at
Yes, sir.
24 years old. Not a lot of people say, like, a lot of people, that's their monthly check where you're able to do it at a side
Yeah.
income with your average trade time being 13 minutes, which is pretty incredible.
For sure.
So,
Yeah, that's something
um,
my girl told me because my girl went to college. She got her degree, job straight out of college. She's making like 42 a year.
yeah,
So, that's what she's making, really less than that in a month. So
it's the
she told me
reality
like,
of it.
babe, your payout was more than me. You're above average American, and my job's very good. Like I just started a business from this. I get paid very good. So I was a little ungrateful with the payouts.
Yeah,
To the guy out there that just wants to get better, take that $1,000, $100, $500 payout. It's not about what you're getting paid out; it's the percentage you're looking at. So
yeah,
look at what could I do with this amount of capital. You're multiplying. That's why I got the 100K. I knew I could have done it on a 50K,
yeah,
but I did want a little more, so I got the 100K. Now that 5K is gonna be 10K because it's double.
exactly.
That's the
That's what it
mindset,
is.
man.
And
That's the
guess what?
mindset.
That 10K, when you get filmed to millions, about to be 100K, bro. It's the same
Yes, sir.
numbers.
Hey, we're not talking your numbers, Luca. All right, we ain't talking about you
Nice.
right now, man.
You're next, bro. You're next up. I
Yes,
love to
sir.
hear it, bro.
Thank you, thank you.
You're a cool
I'm
ass
gonna
guy.
try.
You're the same age, going crazy in the markets, and it's just the beginning, bro. So I've loved getting to sit down with you. Before we got out of here, just some last words of advice for anyone out there. I know you've already given some really good tips, but just a quote from the book or something to give the people something.
Man, I mean, bro, I'm gonna shout out God every time, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't know what your
Question.
religion is. I would say call God, pray. If you're even a Satanist, man, call Lucifer. Do what you gotta do. I ain't judging you for your beliefs. Uh, but there's gonna be those days where you feel alone, where you feel like giving up, throwing it all out. But if you don't have anybody, or if you don't feel you have anybody, man, just hey, call the greater being that you believe in,
Yeah,
because there's always hope. That's the one thing humans have, and we have nothing. You have to believe in yourself. You have to keep trying, and you can never give up. Whether that's trading or any other dreams you have in your life, I would
exactly.
say stick to trading because there's nothing else on the planet like this.
Nothing.
Highest traded, highest volatility every day, uh, and the most multiplication you could do with your money. So just keep trying and believe in yourself, believe in something greater than yourself.
Yeah, have that faith,
That's
have
what
hope, and
investment.
just keep.
Yeah,
You
gotta
you
have
can't
faith.
lose if you don't quit, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
gotta
Yes,
keep
sir.
going on it.
You
Well, that's
can't lose.
awesome, bro.
Even if you're losing, you're learning.
Hey,
Yeah.
incredible, Alan. Thank you so much for taking the time to come sit down and talk to everyone out there. I know a lot of people are going to love your story. So, everyone out there, please comment and thank for Alan for coming and sitting down and taking the time to share his journey on how he was able to go from someone doing challenges now on the other side, past multiple accounts, already paid out over 500,000, and now just I'm not 500,000, 5,000,
wish.
but past $100,000 challenge
Yes, sir.
today. So numbers are only
Yes, sir.
going up. But bro, I cannot wait to do another interview with you. Like I said, thank you for sitting down, and everyone. Hope to see you all in the same chair with another Clarity Payout interview. So make sure to like and subscribe. See you guys on the next one. Peace out.